I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about a question that I was asked recently by a viewer, and it was related to the differences between a healthy versus an unhealthy INFJ. And you've probably noticed I speak a lot about the difference between healthy versus unhealthy INFJs, but I've never actually done, I don't think, I've done so many videos I actually don't remember, but I don't think I've done a specific video delineating 3 or 4 ways you can kind of tell the difference between an unhealthy and healthy INFJ. Maybe because I wasn't ready for it yet, but I kind of think I have an idea. Now, of course, this is not a comprehensive list, nor is it an expert list. So I'm just kind of judging it by, the way I've looked at people and the way I've interacted with healthy versus unhealthy INFJs, the way I've been when I was healthy and unhealthy. And so this is just my opinion about what are the delineating factors between healthy and unhealthy INFJs. And you might disagree. And if you do, obviously let me know, and I want to know what you think are the factors that matter. But these are the things I consider to be important. And as I said, this might change as time goes on and I become more and more hyper aware or more wise or whatever. The first thing that you probably can imagine that is a difference between a healthy and unhealthy INFJ is their self-care routine. It's a very minor thing to even talk about to a lot of people. They're like, why self-care? Who cares about self-care? Well, this is one of the main factors I found for myself when I started taking care of myself properly, when I started looking after my needs and my desires, when I started saying no to things, which is something to do with boundaries, which I'll speak about a little bit later. But when I just started taking care of myself physically, like physical self, like, taking care of the fact that I need to eat enough, making sure that I drink enough water, making sure that I get enough sleep, making sure I don't overwork, making sure I get some fresh air every single day, making sure I get some time with friends or family, making sure that I don't sit there and ruminate on nonsensical things. All of those things, very minor when you think about it in the general scheme of things, perhaps, but extremely important to make sure that you don't slip into unhealthy behaviors as an INFJ. And this is the paramount key. This is, I think, the most important thing an INFJ can do for themselves is to take care of themselves. Why? Because this is a big factor that shows to the world and to yourself particularly that you matter, that you're worthy, that you are worthy of the space you occupy, worthy of the food and the water that you drink, worthy of being on this planet. And as you might imagine, unworthiness is a big thing that unhealthy INFJs feel on a daily basis. And so little by little, you can break that shell of unworthiness by doing self-care routines, taking care of yourself on a daily basis, making sure you do everything that is necessary for you to feel good about yourself, physically in your shell, but also the physical factors will translate into mental factors as well. So first you start with the physical because it's easy. It's easy, perhaps, to take care of, easier, I would say, to take care of, your food habits, taking care of your sleep habits, taking care of your work habits. And once you do that, once you're able to take care of that physical basis, the foundation, then you will realize, right, no, actually I'm worth it. I'm actually worth the time I spend on myself. And once you realize you're worth it, then a lot of that unhealthy behavior that you have will kind of drop away automatically. But it has to start with a foundation of physicality. So that's, in my opinion, as I said, the most important factor. So once you start taking care of yourself, like really taking care of yourself, not doing it just because someone told you to do it, but doing it because you know that you need to do it, because you need to take care of yourself, because you're worth it. You're worth it. And if someone else needs to be taken care of and you can take care of other people, why can't you take care of yourself as well, right? I hope that makes sense. The second thing that I would say, which is a key difference between healthy and unhealthy INFJs, is direct communication. I noticed this for myself particularly, is that the healthier I get, and obviously it's a spectrum, right? You can never say, okay, I'm completely healthy now. I'm a completely healthy INFJ. No, right? That's not going to happen. You'll keep on getting healthier and healthier, but there's no point at which you can say, I'm done. I don't have to improve anymore. So I'm never going to say to myself, yeah, you know what? Actually, I've done all the self-improvement I need. I'm done. I am a healthy INFJ, and that's it. I'm good for life. I'm constantly trying to make sure that I become healthier and healthier and healthier, right? Doing all the stuff that I do. And so one of the things, as I said, this difference is direct communication. And for me, I noticed it was a big difference. When I was unhealthy, I would never communicate my needs, my desires, my wants, not only to myself, I wouldn't even say it to myself, but to other people. If I didn't like something, I wouldn't say it. I would just fester on the inside. If I didn't want them to do something, or if I didn't want to do something, I wouldn't say it. I would just do it and then be resentful about it. So instead of actually being communicative about things, unhealthy INFJs will just store all of it inside of them. And what happens, obviously, as you can imagine, is that they store and store and store, and then they explode. And then they explode in front of the people they care about, and that ruins friendships, ruins relationships, and then ruins their own perception of themselves, which increases the unworthiness. And it's a huge cycle, a vicious one that you don't want to get stuck in, right? So it's hard. It's a very hard thing to do, to be like, no, actually, I don't like this. Don't do that anymore. It's very hard for us to say these words out loud. It's like we could go to the moon and come back, or we could, do astral traveling and do all that crazy stuff. But to say to someone, I'm sorry, but I don't really like that you're doing this. Please stop. It's like impossible, right? Unless you're becoming healthier and you're realizing, no, actually, I need to say it because people aren't mind readers. They're not going to know what I'm feeling or what I want from them unless I tell them. And this is a big key for healthy versus unhealthy INFJs. We suddenly realize that no, people are not going to know. Yeah, we might imagine that they should know, or if they loved me, they would know, or if they cared about me, they would know. No, they don't know. Most people are not thinking about you. They're thinking about their own problems. They're in their heads. So you're going to have to tell them, hey, don't do that anymore. Or, don't do that. I don't like it, right? Like, or can you do that because I like that, right? Or can you buy that particular item for me because I love that and I want that, not this one. Yeah. One of the things, very minor things, but I'm always constantly telling my mother that I like spaghettini, the tiny, teeny, like the skinny one, the skinny spaghetti, not the big, thick spaghetti, like just a normal spaghetti. Constantly I'm telling her, and she'll constantly forget that I don't like spaghetti, and she'll keep on buying spaghetti and not spaghettini. And I'm constantly telling her, even though it seems like I'm talking to a brick wall, it's important because I'm not doing it for her, I'm doing it for myself. I am communicating my needs. It's a very small thing, obviously a minor example. I do it in many other ways as well. But I want to give you an idea that it matters. The small things matter as well as the big ones. So communicate your needs. Tell people what's going on with you. It's okay. They'll stick around still. And if they don't, then you don't need them around. And if they do, then you know that you can communicate your needs and people will still be around. Okay? So I hope this makes sense. And the last one, obviously, as you might imagine, is boundaries. Oh man, it's a difficult one. It's a very difficult topic to speak about in general because it's so vast and so complicated, boundaries and boundary creation. But you will notice as you get healthier that your boundary creation tactics will get stronger and your techniques will get even more refined. So you'll notice that you're able to do them, you're able to create boundaries without a lot of hoopla, without a lot of dramatic antics, without a lot of a lot of dramatic nonsense, basically, I would say. So you just create it. You just say, no, I'm sorry, no. That's it. No drama about it. No nonsense. No like, oh my God, I'm such a terrible person. No guilt, no shame. Just telling someone that this is my boundary. These are my limits. This is where it's set. And if you go beyond it, then it's a problem for me. Right? And that's basically what a boundary is, right? Knowing where your limits are set. This is where my limit is. If you go beyond that limit, then you're stepping beyond your limit and my limit. And I don't like it. So stop doing that. Right? And obviously it applies to everything, in relationships, in the job situation, in sexual situations, in dating, everywhere. And so you constantly have to know, what do I like? What don't I like? What do I like about this? What don't I like about this? And then you're constantly telling people, yeah, no, I don't actually like that. I don't like it when you touch my arm like that. Or no, I don't like it when you rub my shoulder like that. We don't know each other that well yet. Or no, I don't like it when you serve me or you order food for me. I want to order food for myself. And things like that. Like little things, big things, all of that. But you communicate, of course, your needs, but also you have boundaries. And boundaries without communication is nothing. And communication without boundaries is nothing either. Like they're like two peas in a pod or two sides of a coin, right? And so if you have boundaries, you know what your boundaries are, but you're not talking about it, then it's a waste. Then people are not going to know, and then there's no point. But if you're communicating about things that are not actually important to you, then that's a waste as well. You need to communicate about things that are important to you, about your boundaries, about what you like, about what you don't like. So those are the three things I would say. I've been thinking about it for the last few weeks, and I think those are the three things I would say that are most important in that delineating. Now, of course, as I said, there are many other factors, right? I'm sure that you can think of as well, but I would say these are the primary ones. And then everything kind of cascades down from these three. And so if you can kind of just work on these three important points, I think you would make a huge lot of progress, huge progress on moving from becoming unhealthy or being unhealthy to becoming healthier as an INFJ. If you have questions about this, let me know. You can comment below and I shall answer them in video format or as a comment, depending on the comment and the question. And again, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, commenting. I really appreciate your support. And I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.